Happy Saturday, August 17th. Just finished up with yoga, and today's class was basically all about balancing with twists, which is my absolute favorite kind of class because literally everything is just so easy, which is like the entire opposite of what they tell you. Like doing all these poses and then, you know, doing it on one foot is even harder. But I think it's because I've spent so much of my life compensating for the fact that I can't touch my toes. Like, I put my shoes and my socks on one foot. I get dressed on one foot. Like, I never just bend down to tie my shoe. I just do it with one leg. You know, because I can't just, like, reach down and touch my toes without bending a significant amount. So, you know, 30 years of doing everything on one foot has made me very good at balancing, which is so funny. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this better than the instructor. So that's funny. I always enjoy when we have classes that are literally just devoted to twists and balance. But like last week, it was all about binds. Part of binds is being able to, you know, stretch your body enough to reach around and be in these really awkward positions, which I'm bad at because I have zero stretch in my body. It's like the muscles should be like Laffy Taffy, and I got beef jerky in there. But anyways, yoga was great. Normally on a Saturday, I would be heading out to do my normal shopping things. Already did all that on Thursday. There's a former family at our school, and their family was really involved in the PTO. So all of the teachers were really close with this family. One of the daughters was in a scooter accident and got airlifted, and she's still sedated, hasn't woken up. It's all really sad. And then there's another daughter who just moved on to 6th grade, so we just previously had her. Anyways, we put together a pool of money, thinking buying the daughter that's not in the hospital just some things to keep her busy, and then it morphed into like an extravagant, basically like a shopping spree for this kid, because you know our community just really comes together and the teachers really care, and that's one of the best things that I love about my school is we're just such a nice community, a nice family. So anyways, we ended up buying like her entire school supply list besides like the pencil bag and the backpack. I know kids, especially middle schoolers, are picky about that. Like we got all the boring stuff. We got her some arts and crafts. We did some school shopping because, you know, we've had this kid for 6 years. We know her style, her favorite colors, her favorite things. And so anyways, I was already shopping. Right now, my fiance is working 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. So he's going to be asleep for like 5 more hours. And I am the absolute worst at being quiet. I'm just gonna hop over to school, plug my fridge in. Last night I bought some drinks to stock the fridge with, because next week I have 2 days that I have meetings, and it's so crazy to me. Like, I basically have 3 days left of summer. So next week I have 2 days that I have meetings, but that's like for committees that I'm on, so those are paid and it's not a part of contract time, so some people still have summer. But, you know, I'd be at Walmart anyways, so it doesn't bother me. And then the week after that, we have all district trainings. And I'll plan on vlogging. We'll see if it happens. Also, I wanted to say, I know someone in here is going to be like, well, why don't you just spend some time outside? Like, it's going to rain, guys. Trust me. There will be no fun to be had outside. No gardening, no flower bed weeding. The rain is coming. So, also, people wonder, like, how can you get into school whenever you want? We can get into school during June and July. The buildings are open Monday through Thursday, 6 to 3, I think is the hours. And then starting in August, it goes back to just 24-hour access. So, like, Christmas Eve, midnight, you could go to school if you wanted to. I did a mobile order for Caribou since we won't be going to Dunkin' today. I'll be honest, I love Dunkin's breakfast sandwiches way more than Caribou's. So sorry. But the Caribou Turtle Mocha is life. Boo, there's a line. One thing, last night at Walmart, I was working in the back room doing my apparel things like normal, and I walked by a grocery pallet and they had witch's brew on the bottom of the pallet. And I know that the freight starts coming out at 9 o'clock. So when I was shopping after work at 10 o'clock, there it was. I was that person, you know, that punctured the plastic, took the 2 before it was even stocked on the shelf because it doesn't have a shelf location yet. Who knows how long it'll be. But technically it was on the sales floor so I could buy it. Witch's Brew is my favorite Alani Nu. I got the mini Alanis, and I got mini Cokes. Not that I'm watching my calories or my sugars by any means, let's be honest. I just enjoy a little fizzy drink after lunch or after school. And I feel like in the later afternoon when I'm at school, I'm like notorious for opening a drink, starting it, and not even finishing it. And then I like leave it in my car or leave it at school. So the mini drink is the way to go. And in this economy, guys, stuff is expensive. I also like the peach and the orange kiss, which is in that pack. The cherry slush is okay, but like this one is the best. One thing that drives me absolutely crazy though is I follow a lot of people on Instagram that have gotten these from Alani and they're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to try. Like, this is the 3rd year they've been out. What do you mean you haven't tried this before? Annoying. So these are the boxes that have workbooks and supplies that I ordered through the school. So I'll show you that. But first, I need to eat my breakfast. The maple waffle sandwich. Basically, there's like 3 ways that you get supplies. One, at the end of the year, every teacher has about $125 on a specific catalog that the district has to have like a wholesale price. So we have a whole like spreadsheet of things that we can pick through to use for supplies for our classroom. So that's like tape, staples, pencils, that sort of thing. I'm pretty sure that's what this box is. Yep. So this is all classroom supplies district bought for me. We've got pretty expo markers, flare pens because I have paras. I like to have them have their own set if they would like. We've got gallon Ziploc baggies, sheet protectors, file folders because I love a good file folder task activity. And these are really expensive. Like, I wouldn't have expected the cost of a file folder to be that much. And then white binders. I prefer everything in my classroom to just be white furniture, white binders. That way it's all cohesive. 2017 first year teacher Monica really enjoyed her, neon, bedazzled, bright colored binders, but then nothing can match. So at least if it's all white, it can all match. So yes, we've got 3 white binders, double-sided tape, green paint, black paint, normal tape, double-sided tape, and batteries for all the various things in this room. Woo! Everything my district bought for me. And if you saw, I don't know what video that was, but I figured that those little dots weren't going to be able to hold it up. But all I have of the big strips like that were the rough. So then I only had the little dots at the soft. And I actually bought some Velcro because I figured that this would have fallen down. And of course I left it at home. Next week. I don't know if you guys follow Alicia on Instagram, Alicia Marie. She talks about Clorox wipes containers being her favorite tripod, and I totally get it. Like, they're just so convenient. But anyways, let's put the stuff away. These file folders I just put in the bottom of my Cut Me and Velcro drawers. As you can see, I have some in here already. And I didn't buy these last year. I'd say probably every other year I end up buying file folders. But I mean, maybe eventually I'll get to the point where I'll have every single file folder activity that I've ever wanted and it won't be a thing. So yeah, that's full. So I can put it in the bottom of the Velcro Me drawer. One of my students, she's now headed to 6th grade, meticulously kept these flare pens in color order, and I always feel like a little bit of a monster when I don't put them back in color order. I mean, right now I've got the time, but in the middle of the school year, I could care less if the orange is with the orange. Like, just put the markers in and call it a day. This pack is for my para, so I'm just set it right there. The baggies go over here. snack sandwich and quart the kids bring as a part of their school supply list, and I just grab a couple from whatever classroom I've got kids in. Sheet protectors going in here. Normally I'd put these in my cabinet in the gym. I might end up now using my very irritating sized cabinets in the sensory room as storage for these, but for now I've got room in this little bin right here, and this is mostly where I just have like my more like teacher style, like teacher development books that they give you that I should read, but I just haven't gotten around to reading, or like I haven't read it in a while, but I don't want to get rid of it. Dry erase is at the bottom. It's funny because at the end of the year, there's always just like a pile of brown left because, you know, brown markers are just not ideal. So then I have highlighters here, which these are from like literally when I started. I've never bought a highlighter with school district money ever. And then we've got glue. So the kids bring glue as a part of their school supplies. These are like old, like me in elementary school old. I'm pretty sure glue never expires. This we used for a craft. But yeah, we always need glue. Markers. Oh, I was looking for that. I had a student who loved organizing. So she had the skinny in here. And then she had the normal up in here, but it was just like really full. So now that she's gone, I'll go back to just being a mess. Scissors, colored pencils, random crayons. And then we have my fancy crayons. And then like, this is just what I pull out when a kid needs a fidget. I do have more up here too. But sometimes these are the funner ones, or like, that one right there you can spin on your finger, and some kids can handle that and some kids can't, so it just depends on the clientele you got. Okay, so this just goes over that cabinet, but this is where I keep my paint. Last year, if you didn't see my classroom setup video, there was a different cube organizer here and the paint was underneath, but I had the room. So I just bought a new thing of black because this one's almost empty, and then the green is pretty empty too. So use that up first before we use anything else. And since we're over here, we can go ahead and get the fridge situated. This guy's from college and still going. Isn't this cute? It's TJ Maxx. I just got it like 2 weeks ago, so if you like it, should be still available. Oh, there is some ink in here. Clorox wipe. Okay, so what I showed you was district-wide supplies. Now this is specifically special education supplies that we put in order for basically another spreadsheet where there's different intervention things that you can choose from. So for me, it's really nothing new, except we're going from System 44 to Read 180. I think System 44 isn't being supported, or we don't like the new version, but Reading 180 is basically the same thing, and they teach it at the middle school, so there must be a newer elementary version. But anyways, that's the only really new thing, is these workbooks for Reading 180, and then the teacher version should be in one of these too. And I actually have a training for this next week, but it should be pretty similar to System 44. But maybe about the middle of the year or so, when I've gotten a good hang of this, then I'll have to go through my System 44 supplies and see what no longer applies or what still works with it and get rid of that sort of stuff. You know me, I hate the cardboard things like this. Don't like it at all. But this, I think, will be like my connecting math concepts and my reading mastery stuff. So in theory, you're supposed to order enough that each kid has a workbook at the beginning of the year. But obviously, switch interventions, or they still have one left over from last year, or a new kid comes. So I try to have a couple extra. But for like these higher level books, I've generally had the kid since like reading mastery read like when they were in kindergarten, first grade. Same thing with like math level green. I've had the kid in connecting math concepts or math interventions for a long time. And then a single textbook for reading mastery, because last year we were in the middle of reading one book and the kid was like, yo, the page isn't there. And like, he was literally just missing like 10 pages randomly out of the book. It was just a misprint. So I had to get a new one of those. Then we've got connecting math concepts and more connecting math concepts. Yeah, I have more kids in intervention than that. A lot of them are still in the same workbook that they were last year. Or, like, just a pile of workbooks like that takes up a lot of space. So I have a binder somewhere that has all my reading mastery copies in it, and then I can just make copies from that. That way if a kid shows up and they're new, they can hop in wherever we are in the lesson, and I'm not having to go through and like rip out pages. But I must have borrowed that to someone, so I'm gonna have to go figure out where that is, because that is a must-have for me. Oh no, it's right here. Look at me, organized. It's in their bin. So there it is. It's just the copies of the workbook in there, so that I can make copies instead of having to have, you know, the actual whole workbook. But now, these are some books that have been in this room since I first got here. So I'm gonna go through and figure out like what I want out of here, tear out pages, and make my own little version of like a writing phonics packet on like what I want the scope and sequence to be. I'm not going to video that because it's going to be very boring, because I'm just going to be ripping through pages and figuring out the order that I want it to be. But I'll show you at the end. So I took everything apart. So I've got pieces from the Scholastic Grammar. This is very old, but there's some good stuff in it. The Scholastic Writing, and then Word Family Sentences. And then I just put it inside of this binder in the little pocket so I could remember, because I've used this one before and I really like it, and they have other ones in this like family of products that I think I'm going to invest in after this year or midway through the year, depending on how much PTO money I have left. So like, am I going to do this the first or second day of school? Yes. And I'm just going to kind of make a journey through this. There's a couple previous videos where I'm talking about my Teachers Pay Teachers account, and I've been going through things. So like this one, whenever I get around to making the copies, I'm going to get rid of that. So then this one will just be like a one-sided, because that's good. That's a waste. Like this is good. This is a waste. So I'll fix things as I make the actual copies and then get rid of this. So it's kind of just like how my brain thinks with the scope and sequence. Here's what those word sentences look like. You know, you read the words. My, ready, is, ack, go, to. First we figure out where's the beginning of the sentence. We know the beginning of a sentence is a capital letter, so it's got to be my, so we put my there. And then let's think, the end of a sentence. It needs some punctuation. Oh, go. So we got my, we've got go. And then you'll notice that this one has the ack family, so then you can go snack, black, back, pack, track. So then you could pick snack, write it there, and you would draw your picture of snack, but then black doesn't go with it, so you would just cross it out. Back, that doesn't make sense. Cross it out. Pack, that could be a backpack, so yes, you could. And then track, that doesn't make sense. So my pack is ready to go. And then it just progresses throughout the various things. And then as I go through the school year, I can add things to this or take things away or change up the order. I kind of just call this like my, I don't know, word work binder 1, because I've got other pieces like this one. You know, we were only page 9 in on the writing, and we were already writing sentences. Like, whoa, progression, that's way too fast. And then I've also got some really fun little ad libs. That's full on, like, writing words and being able to think of, like, what an action word is. Kind of the scope and sequence of where I'm at isn't there yet. So I'm going to make a second one, too, to include this and then just some other things that I have. I don't know about this one yet. I was kind of paging through, but I definitely recycled a lot. And then there was one that was 180 days of writing, and it was from 2010, so it was pretty old. There was not a lot that I needed because it's already taught in other curriculums that I'm already using, but I liked that this one was a beginning of the school year. This one is kind of like a opinion writing on pumpkins, and we talk about pumpkins a lot. And then this one's like candy. So I did keep these 3 little sections, and I'll put them in their respective like holiday bins. But most of this one, the 180 days of writing, just got the trash bin. Bridges intervention is like the main intervention that goes with our math curriculum, because we use Bridges for our general education math curriculum, and I really like that. And I love how everything in Bridges is grouped by skill. You can see this is well used. So you can just see like the actual skill that they're struggling with, and you can kind of bebop around. Like, you don't have to go module 1 number 2. Like, if it's just place value that they don't understand, you can go there. But if they know how to count and add, like, you could just skip it. Maybe they don't know how to add on the number line. Well, go to that one. So it's kind of where I want to head with all my random reading writing materials, is more like organize it by skill, which is, you know, this, because especially because Wisconsin's doing a lot of basic literacy skills and phonemic awareness and all of this stuff. If you can do every single one of these skills, then you're going to be a good reader. But if you're struggling with syllables or you're struggling with digraphs, reading's going to be hard for you. You have to be taught all of those skills. I know I'm the kind of teacher that, like, if this is just sitting in a book form somewhere, I'm not going to pull it out and use it. It has to be like prepped and organized. So that, like, I'm like, oh, this kid's struggling with digraphs. Oh man, we can't read our R-controlled vowels. Let me just go over here and pull this out and work on it, you know? Another thing that my pairs are going to work on is a couple of these fell out of their respective pages, so that can be a pair task. Talked about this in a previous video, how we're going to sort these into the unit that it actually belongs to, so that'll be a big task. And then this is Explode the Code. I want to use this as like my basic beginning handwriting practice with students, because we use handwriting without tears, but it gets really hard really quick, and I love how this is set up. And I don't have this already previously prepped in a binder, and I love when it's just torn out so I can just make a copy really quick. Because I've never started from the ABC level, I've always started at 1, but this year I have a kid in mind that I would start at the A level with her. Okay, so we will be back in here on a Tuesday. I'm going to remember my Velcro so I can fix that. I put my collection of empty bins under there for now. When Meet the Teacher comes, then I'll take them home and put them in my basement. Same thing with my random polka dot paper collection that'll go home too. I'm thinking when I'm here on Tuesday after my meeting that I will do the laminating, just so I can get this stuff off this table and then just leave the laminating in a roll, and then the paras can help me cut it whenever we get to it. Delicious. The best flavor. I'm gonna go home and probably just eat, shower, and read a book. What a really exciting Saturday we have had. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.